The following presentation is brought to you by kmmedia.pro. Please visit kmmedia.pro for more information. Now stay right where you are as we present. Welcome to Positive Talk Radio, evolving ideas one conversation at a time. Great guests, dynamic stories and interviews, plus new thoughts on a wide range of topics and concepts. I hope that you'll hang with me, Kevin McDonald, my friends, and of course, you. As together we work to understand why we are all here and what we can do to make our world a better place for all of us. To be happy, be kind, and live in peace together. Yep, that's Positive Talk Radio. That's us. How is everybody today? My name is Kevin McDonald, and you're listening to Positive Talk Radio. Well, Dana, what did you think?
I love it. I love those new pictures, and it looks great.
Isn't that nice? And
yeah,
so I'm real thrilled about that. But I'm actually more thrilled to be talking with Dr. Janet Frazier. But aren't you dead?
I am dead, but I am alive on an alternate universe, Kevin.
Very good. This is Teryl Rothery. She was she's an actress of note. She was Dr. Janet Frazier on Stargate for 75 episodes, and then they unceremoniously killed you. What was that like to watch your own death?
I didn't watch it.
Oh,
are you kidding?
Good.
Didn't watch it. I couldn't even get through. It was 7 seasons for her. I couldn't even get through reading the script because it made me cry. It was beautifully written. It was a nice little send off to her. But what was it like to die? Not fun, Kevin. Yeah.
Well, you know, in the press releases afterwards, there was quite an upcry when they ceremoniously killed you, because everybody said, "No, not Dr. Frazier."
I know. Yeah, she was sort of like, there was the cast, the main 4 that would go off exploring to all the various worlds that we would dial into. And then the sort of like the parent roles, I guess, were held by the late, great Don Davis, who played General Hammond, and Janet Frazier, Dr. Janet Frazier, who was we stayed on the base. I mean, I sometimes got to venture out to various worlds, but for the most part, we were the ones who took care of things and fixed things when they would bring back all these various exotic diseases for Doc Frazier to, fix. But yeah, we were like, so there was a I think a bond for that particular character because she was so grounded. She was the fixer-upper, she was an amazingly strong woman. I absolutely loved playing that part.
Well, and you are an actor of note. You've been on a bunch of series. You were on the X-Files. You were on Smallville, which I really like that show, and stuff. And so you've been doing that a long time, but you're embarking upon a brand new career, and that's what we want to focus on today. And by the way, Dana Parker, how are you, my dear? It's great to have you back. She just recovered from about a COVID, and she's feeling much better. Now and stuff. And so how are you?
Better. I'm doing so good today. I'm thrilled and so excited, per usual, to be here. I love meeting new people. I'm always fascinated by people. People are like these beautifully wrapped Christmas presents, and you just never know what's going to come out and what you're going to experience. And that's how I feel, like night before Christmas, excited every time I get to come on the show. So thanks for having me, Kevin.
That's nice.
It is. You're more than welcome. And Teryl, what is the new career that you are embarking upon?
I don't like saying it's a new career because the if you want to call it, the old career is still going, but what it is just I like to call it an extension of who I am, in the sense that I love being of service, and I like being able to be a part of the storytelling that people can relate to, that can either stimulate them, to make them think, to bring out the anger, to bring out the strength, to bring out the tears, whatever it is that emotion is going to bring about, to make them feel something and, stir things up. So That has always been something that I in our last interview that we did, Kevin, it's all I ever wanted to do from the time I was 4. So I knew that was my calling. But this has also been a very strong calling in that I would use my sensitivity. It was extremely, I mean, I would feel things so deeply and I didn't really understand it, but it certainly worked when you're, dealing with a character who has to portray certain attributes or certain emotions. Um, and so I've always been fascinated and wanting to know more, that there is more to this world than just this world. Like there's something greater. Like I could never deny that there was anything greater. Does that make sense? And,
The two questions that are just huge in everyone that I talk to, virtually everybody that I talk to has two questions. One is, why am I here? And is this all there is? There has
right?
to be more. And everybody, it seems like planetarily wide, we are coming across this as a raise in consciousness, because everybody has that. It used to be, like my father would, like, I get to go to work for 30 years and then I get to go watch and then I go play golf and then I die. And those days, people aren't doing that anymore. They want to know, why am I here? What am I passionate about? What are my gifts? What can I do to make it better? And both of you guys are life coaches, and I implore everybody, and in various aspects of it, I implore everybody. Everybody needs a coach, and there are 330 million people in the United States, so there is enough for everyone.
Mhm.
But
Absolutely.
and everybody, and we all need to work together for that. But no, you're right, because you had that calling. You had that. This can't be all there is. There's got to be more.
Oh, definitely. I don't know about your journey, Dana, but I remember like at a young age and always exploring and finding, oh, I need this book. Oh, this is on Hinduism. I love that. Okay, I want that book. Oh, Hebrew. Oh, I want to know more about that. What is
Yeah.
Kabbalah? Oh, I need that. It's like I've got goosebumps.
I
It was
love
like
it.
there was always something more. And if anybody or if
Mhm.
any of my friends would question that, just, they didn't get it, and we'd be driving, say, somewhere and on a this vista, like in British Columbia, if you're driving up to Whistler, if you've ever heard of the ski resort, it's just spectacular. The view is breathtaking. It's called the Sea to Sky Highway. And every time, it doesn't matter how many times I've shot up there, so back and forth, that every time I drive, I just look out and I think, how can anybody think that there's not something greater? Like,
Mhm.
just look at this, right? It's just magical. And then more and more things would start to happen. Dana, maybe this happened to you too, where things would happen and I would hear things and I go,
Where
did
did
I
that come from?
did I just hear something?
Who's
Oh,
who said
okay,
that?
I didn't. Yeah, what was that? No, it's just nothing. You're and then you go somewhere else and I'd see something and I go, no,
Oh,
no, there's that, no. And it just kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger. So I started really taking note of it and wanting to learn more and find out more about what all of that is. I grew up
mm,
in a religious, not overly religious, but I grew up Catholic, and so there was always that belief. I was never afraid of using the word God. I was
yeah.
never afraid of using the word universe. I was never as a little kid ever. I would never question anybody else's faith, because how can I
Mhm.
say what I believe in is right? That's right for them, and so,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? I would
Yeah.
embrace all of it. So yeah, there's all these questions, and it just excites me. It
Yeah.
excites me to work with clients, and it excites me to see, that they're searching, and you don't need me. We're all in the same plane. Like you said, raising the consciousness, Kevin. There's so much out there right now, and we are so out of balance. There is such an imbalance in this beautiful planet, our earth, and people. It's just yeah, it's heartbreaking, and there's so many people that do need the fixing. So you're no, I don't like that word fixing, but um, the help.
Support through their evolution. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What she said.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. I see what you're saying. I'm with you.
I get it. Yeah. So, and you're right. We live in a culture right now that is fundamental, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. It's fundamentally broken.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why this show exists, is to bring people on like you and like you, so that people can see that there's a better way. There's another way. And they can live more authentically and really become who they really are.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need a mirror, and sometimes you need somebody outside of yourself. Most of the time you need somebody outside of yourself.
Yeah, to ask questions. I think questions, are some of the most powerful things. I mean, I'm a coach and been coaching. I, like you, I have that same loving curiosity of like, ooh, this book and at a young age. I mean, at least for me, it was young, 23 years old. Most 23-year-olds weren't studying about the things that I was studying, people and why we do what we do and where it comes from, and figuring all these things out. But I think that the most powerful thing that coaches do, or that having somebody outside of you can do, is questions. Ask you questions so you can go within and find your answers. And that's one of the things I loved most about what you said, Teryl, is that everyone has their answers within them. That what's right for you, it's like, oh yeah, that religion, that's right for you. This path is right for me. I think that, like, let's talk about that a little bit more. Like, that is, I think, such a high level concept, and such an important concept to be putting out there to people, and to be understanding with each one of us, because it's the variety that creates the magic of this life. It's the variety of what's possible. Absolutely. And so having that choice and that variety and all the possibilities is what makes this whole planet so beautiful.
I get the biggest kick out of it because Teryl is a recovering Catholic. I'm a recovering Lutheran.
And I'm a recovering Mormon.
and Dana was in a very, very strict religious background, but all of us came to the same place, which is, no, that's not enough. There's more to it. There has to be. And so it's not about who's right and who's wrong. It's that we're all working together for a better place for us to be, and to understand who we really are and what we're about. And that's what I love, the coaching aspect of it, because you guys can help people. And that's the key, is we have to do it one person at a time.
Yeah, to change the world, you get to change your inner world. Tell me a little bit, Teryl, about the kind of people that you find most drawn to you for your coaching. I'd love to hear that.
That I'm drawn to, that I coach with?
Yeah, that you coach with.
There's been so many. I mean, I work with, and Kevin has met her, Dr. Debbie Chandna. And I've been to so many different people and listening and learning, taking and finding, and you grow to your teachers change, right? It's like whenever we're meeting, the teacher appears. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear, and that's how I live my life by. And with Divvy, it was an interesting thing. A friend, she does my hair of all things, and she was telling me, she goes, "Oh my gosh, I had this amazing experience with this woman who did a reading with me, like a coaching, and she did some reading, and she really tapped into my sister. Her sister has transitioned a number of years ago, and it was beautiful. And I was just watching her, and I've known this woman for a long time. I said, "Oh my gosh, she sounds fascinating. I'll have to give me your number. I'll have to check it out." And I had one session with Divvy, and I knew, I just knew. I went, "Oh, I'm ready, and I'm ready for this." And that's how that started. And then in our, our quest for more and more, I was saying to somebody, I said, "I feel like SpongeBob. It's like I just want to suck all this information in,
Oh, I love it.
Bringing it in, right?"
Yeah.
She had quite a chuckle about that SpongeBob, trying to vision that. But so I was,
So much fun.
right? And
Yes.
now I'm finding I'm bumping into people who are into RTT. Have you heard of RTT?
Mm-mm.
Rapid transformation therapy. I
No,
don't know enough
not
about
that.
it. I'm not even going to speak on it, but
Mhm.
there's been an interest that, my little sponge is going,
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
and it's just, it's all of that. But mostly and I bet you, what is it? Dollars to donuts that you feel the same way, Dan. I have that feeling, but I rely on my divine support team, and I trust where I'm supposed to be.
Yep.
And I know I'm always, looking out for signs and knowing that it's when it's time to do something. And that's what I do. That's what I gauge myself by.
Yeah, I love that. I can definitely relate. One of my questions is, what would you say to somebody who's in that space? We all go through transformation with higher power,
Mhm.
however that's named for us. I think everyone goes through transformation of the name and the connection and all of that. What do you ever find or bump into people that are like, I don't know about that. I'm unsure about that. I don't think that there is something there, and or they're even unsure of how to connect. Where do you start with people to help them open up to this magical view that you and I both see, that we experience, that brings our hearts overflowing joy? How do you share those things and help people step through that process? What does that look like?
But that's a hard one. For those who I have, one client in particular who's adamant that she is an atheist and that's it. She doesn't believe. No. But then we'll be doing something and I'll work, with this person on something. And then all of a sudden, there'll be something happening. I'll go, well, do you realize that that could be a sign? Like, that just happened to you. Let's look at where that's coming from. So I take them to that place. And then there'll be a moment of, uh-huh. And then as we go on, all of a sudden I know exactly what that was about. It was telling me blah, blah, blah. So I don't give it word. I don't call it anything.
Yeah.
I allow that person to find their own way.
No,
I
yeah.
mean, I remember there'd be times when I was younger and people would say they just don't believe. And I, even as a younger person, going, what do you mean? Like, what do you think's going to happen? Well, I'll just
Yeah.
die and, I'll be in the ground or whatever. And I go, but no, no, that's not the end.
No.
I would try and drive that home because I was, I don't know, in my teens, but it
Right.
wasn't my place. But even then, there was for me personally, that did not. I knew there was more.
Yeah.
And I've got so much I have so many goosebumps.
Yeah.
There's just so much more. I mean, I share a little story. I don't tell a whole lot of people, but I mean, it's it's for me. And if somebody can resonate with this, then isn't that fantastic? But
It's just the three of us, so just go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah.
my mom was quite young when she passed. I was raised by my grandparents, and her path that she chose was not a healthy one. So she died at the age of 49. And many years later, I'm in my relationship with I was my ex-husband, and we were traveling, and we were in Australia. And I would always think of her, and I always knew she would always say to me, I don't mind, because and she would have, when we would have conversation, she said, when I die, I'm not really dead. I'm excited. Just think of all the things I get to explore. And I used to listen to her and go, that's how I think. So anyway, I remembered that. So I'm in Australia. We're in this little place and we're heading off somewhere. And my husband at the time was reading a book on where we're going to go to next. And I was, I remember I had a sarong on. It was boiling and I was combing my hair and I happened to look in the mirror. And guys, literally, I just went, I stopped. It's like my breath went. I looked in the mirror and she was there. Like she appeared. I know you're probably going to think, what is in that coffee cup that you
No.
have? But I'm telling you, it was her. And I just froze looking in the mirror going, and then there was a part of me because she had the same fabulous sense of humor. I'm honored to have that work, crazy, fun sense of humor that she had.
Yes.
And I remember looking in the mirror going, of all places, you had to follow me to Australia, didn't you? Like, that was the first thoughts. And as I'm looking at this, there's a part of me going, don't go, don't go. And I just was waiting. I thought, what is this? And then I had to turn. I wanted to talk to him, my ex. And I turned. And as I was turning to him to go to say, you're not going to believe, he was on his book, like, and then he looked up and he went, oh my God, you look just like your mom. And I just went, and then it went on.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, and others may not understand that, but I'll tell you, if there's ever a question, are we still somewhere? That always comes back to me. And for me, and there's other instances that I won't even get into, but for me, there's no doubt for me personally.
Yeah. I love that. That's
Yeah.
magical. Do you know what's so fun and so interesting as you're talking? It's like that your experiences as you've connected to this version that honors you, this version of there is a higher power. It brings you so much joy and then therefore connects your eyes to open up to see things. And I think that's the beauty of it. That's the dots that I'm kind of connecting as you're talking, is the beauty of what you're saying is when you have this experience, this emotional experience with something higher power, something bigger than you, then you see the world differently.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a beautiful world from that perspective for you. And I love that it's almost like you're a vibration of that. And you don't even have to say it. You don't even have to put anything you're saying on someone else. They can feel that and they tap into that vibration when they work with you. And then they have a different perspective and a different view because you're in that vibration. And that's one of the gifts that you bring as a coach that's so beautiful. And that ability to see like that is one of the gifts of spirit, right? The gifts to see things that are maybe unseen to most people, that visual. It's beautiful.
Oh, that was lovely. Yes. Thanks, Dana. That was lovely.
So in your coaching work, you actually use your intuition. Both of you do. You use your intuition quite a little bit in talking with people because there are a lot of us that are still asleep and they would like to wake up. And a lot of them don't know how to wake up, and that's why they come to see you. Is that right?
Well, I would think so. Or that, yeah, it's like you said, Kevin, they know they want to wake up. So they're starting to question, or maybe that veil is starting to flutter or something has triggered them to want to find out more. But like Dana, absolutely, I totally rely on what I get. People, like I'll tap in, always, and I always start with my own prayer meditation of, okay, for the next person, how can I be of service? And I just want to provide love and be there for that person. And tapping in, and I'll get messages and I just write things down. What I've learned is that for the longest time, Dana, I bet you this happened to you too in our younger times, where something would come in. Well, like I told you before, I'd hear something go, oh no. Is that we were going, oh no.
Yeah.
Now I just go, here's what I've heard or seen or felt, like all that stuff. And I'll say, this may not resonate with you, but I have to honor it by speaking it. And you take it for what it's worth. And then I will still honor it and trust it.
Yeah.
And for the most part, it'll be either a connection then, or I will get an email. Oh, I know exactly what you are talking about. Right?
Yeah.
And just let it sort of, let it percolate, and then sometimes it happens. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't claim to be able to have all the answers, but I can give you what I get type of thing.
But those ideas come through and as they sit in their energy field and in their space, it will bring things up again. It brings a new perspective, a new shift throughout their week. Sometimes that's why you get the emails later, is because that was a seed for later in the week.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so trusting that the universe will speak through us. And this is for anyone listening that feels like they have these gifts, or they're coaching, trusting that message as it comes through, but not being attached to what it has to look like. It might not serve in that moment, but later it can be recalled and brought to their attention and serve in a later as a purpose. And actually, Teryl, this was really funny, because on my journey, at first, when I started getting those impressions, I thought they were judgments. And so I used to run events, personal development events. And I remember one of the first times I started to observe my thoughts instead of being attached to them. And there was a couple that walked into the event, and I heard clear as day, he's cheated on her and she is so angry. She is angry. And I thought, well, that's a weird judgment, Dana. And then I was like, wait a minute. I acknowledge that is a message that I just heard, and I'm going to let it play out and see what happens. I may or may not find that out throughout this event. Well, sure enough, that night, there's this moment where she stands up in the middle of class, comes straight to me and says, I need to talk to you. Can we go out? And I said, yes. And we went out, and she just opened up and was like, my husband's cheated on me. I am so fearful and I'm so angry. I don't even know what to do with all this emotion. I can't even concentrate, and I need support. And it was this like, whoa moment where I started being like, okay, listen to those impressions. And I started to learn later too, to ask, what do I do with that? Because that's also important. Not everyone always wants to know your impressions that you get, because they're not ready. Sometimes not ready. And that's another thing to remember as things come through. Sometimes people aren't ready to hear it. And so it doesn't mean you're wrong. There's just a time for that too.
Yeah.
Let me ask the two of you. Do you think that given the situation that's in the world today, do you think that the veil is thinning a little bit, that the other side is allowing more intuition to come into play so that people like you can have a bigger impact with more people and more people are becoming open to exploring the world and the universe and what's all around them? Teryl, I'll start with you. Do you think that that's happening?
I think there's definitely, like, I like that word about the veil. Absolutely. I think what's happening is there's really two strong entities here. There are those who are taking it to the extreme of such sadness and feeding off of the hatred, which is such a horrible word,
And fear.
right? Which is all based in fear. That's what it is. It's fear. And then there are those who are I've got goosebumps again. Those who are saying, no, I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go with the light. And I think what's happening, more and more people are wanting the light, because it's about balance. There has to be, the balance, the energy of the patriarch, the energy of the matriarch. And right, and both are necessary, but we are in need of the matriarchal nurturing right now. We are this planet, the people are calling out for that. Do you agree, Dana?
I absolutely agree. People are calling out for that. And a really big part of that is the emotional experience, with there are so many instances that are being shown to us where people are feeling such incredible emotion, and they're they're taking it out in unhealthy ways. And that's something I feel so passionate about, is all emotions are acceptable. What you choose to do with it does matter. People who are really angry, when you go and take that anger out on small children, like those tragedies that have happened, to me, my heart genuinely goes out towards all of the families and all people involved, but also the person that was so filled with anger and they didn't know what to do with that. That would be a very hard human experience. And not to say anything about the consequences or whatever, I'm not even going to go there. I'm just going to that space of love for the human, love for the people. There's a call and a cry for that. And I think now more than ever, especially with the internet, all this information that's constantly being poured out towards us, you can find COVID is real. You can find COVID's not real. You can find the opposites of every possible truth out there. So what is that doing for us? It's actually putting us in a position where we get to go within and recognize our own discernment, because the old way is relying on other people to tell us our truth. The new way is going within and saying, I have this discernment. I have the answers for me within me, and I get to choose. And it's a reclaiming of that power and a reclaiming of that space. We're in a really important place right now in history to be able to do that. And the internet and all this information is really putting us into a position where we get to start discerning from here, because the confusion's getting old. Yeah. The confusion of who to trust and what to trust, it's getting old for a lot of people. And it creates a lot of chaos in people's lives, and anxiety and worry and fear and who do I believe in what. It's like, once that's all gone and you're like, I have the power. Yes. I'm the conscious creator. Yeah. I get to choose what I want to experience in this life. I get to choose and know this knowing as I connect to my higher power above all else. And no one else gets to tell me my truth anymore. That's where we're headed. That is the exciting place of where we're at right now. Yeah. That's when I get so excited about, all the chaos and all the stuff. It's telling us, go within. Your answers are here, and your answers are not my answers. And that's perfect and beautiful. Yeah. It's perfect and beautiful, because my joy will be different than your joy, but I want joy for you and I want joy for me. And so if I let you explore your world and create beauty there, and I do with mine, then our joy just accentuates, and we find happiness in that. And it's the beautiful thing about our time right now that I'm excited about.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Kevin, you were enjoying it too.
Of course. Why do you think I do this?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Do you realize how magical this is that you have started up? I mean, just positive talk radio, like just in that. And what and also you didn't ask my opinion on the new intro. I just want you to know, I think it's beautiful. I think it totally works. But yes, it's all about that. There again, it's offering the positive. And yes, absolutely, Dana, we have to go in, because those are the answers. And that's what's so sad, is we've always looked for somebody else. We've always looked for those answers to come from an outside source instead of just being within, because it's all there. It's that, like you say, that connection to the higher power.
Yeah.
And ultimately that's all there is within, because everything else is an illusion. Because it's what other people are pretending to be. I interviewed another actor who is a stunt guy out of Vancouver. His name is Mr. Harrison. And he went to a Catholic school, and he was abused by a priest for years. And so the people that are in power, they are supposed to be above reproach, are not. They're human beings with failings. So you have to go within to determine who you are and what your right path is. I did that, and I determined that my right path was to do this show so that I could put you on and you on, so that people can get inspired by what's possible. Because you guys are leading people into what's possible if they choose. It fills my soul. That's why I do this. It just does.
Lovely. Thank you, Kevin.
I love that.
It makes it so easy for me to have great conversations with people like you, because you understand. There's so many people that don't get it yet, but more and more are. But you get it. You understand. You understand that we're all one. You understand that we all come from the same place. We're all going back to the same place. We're all working to better ourselves and our fellow people that are here to get through and to really learn and experience everything that we are here to experience. It's a marvelous thing.
It is.
Sorry, I'm supposed to be the moderator and ask questions and not.
No, great. This is a great conversation.
I know. I love this.
So Teryl, if somebody wants to get a hold of you to work with you, how do they go about doing that?
They can just go to my website, and I'm on Instagram. I think just like everybody, TerylRothery.com, and my Instagram is, yeah, I think it's am I Teryl Roth? Yeah, I'm Teryl Rothery on that, or TJR, or that might be something else. Oh, listen, I'm so bad with all this stuff.
Or just
TJR
Google.
Grateful. I've got TerylRothery.com, but if you go to TerylRothery.com, I have a tab there for intuitive coaching as well, and just follow me on Instagram. I'm on Twitter as well, and yeah.
Now, Teryl, you and I are of the basic. You're a little younger than I am, but we're basically the same generation. But
Mhm.
what's next for you? Where do you feel that you want to contribute to the world in such a positive way? What's next?
I'm doing it. I'm doing what's next.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love what I'm doing. I love, as I say, I will act to the day I am no longer here and able to do it. And I will continue to help people and be of service whenever I can. It's like you said, Kevin, when you were saying we are all one, we are. So the more you give, it comes back tenfold, right? The more you want to bring joy, the more you want to heal. That's why I hope some people can understand that when you're putting the anger out there, or you're putting the judgments out there, you're just judging yourself. It's all going to come right back to you, you know. And I say that, and I mean it, and I put it into action. But there are moments, I admit, I'm still human. It is a journey. We are all works in progress. And when I'm behind the wheel of a car, that's the wayside.
Yep.
Yeah. It's part of the human experience, emotions,
And then
And
it's
they're
like,
like
wait,
mood.
I'm human. It's okay. I'm
It's
human.
okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's all part of the experience. The
Yeah.
good
It
of
is.
it, the bad of it, the light of it, the height of it, the depth of it,
Yeah.
it's all of it.
Yeah.
And if we can just, every great teacher that has ever walked this planet has always said, be kind to each other.
Mhm.
Love your neighbor as yourself. And all the other religions, it's just the basic premise is to be kind
Mhm.
and not to kill each other and not to hurt each other,
Mhm.
because that's a fear-based thing. And
Right.
if we can
Right.
convince that, and that's why I did, Teryl, I know that you are an extraordinarily busy woman, but I would love to have you back, as well as Dana is here on Fridays, whether I like it or not. But I would like you to
He
become a.
loves it.
I
He
do.
does. He totally
I
does.
do, I
I
do.
know.
She's so good, and she's so gifted at what she does, but so are you. And I would love to have you back on the show whenever you want to come back.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. I would love to be back. I love this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
I
is
love
amazing.
how Kevin, you power yourself, or you pair yourself with wonderfully strong women too, with Holly, Dana. This
Yeah.
is great. Like you make it so comfortable and such a joy.
Mhm.
It's just a conversation, and if anybody listening gets something from it, isn't that fantastic? But this,
Right.
just getting the words out there and having a conversation that I just love. You have a way of making everybody feel at home, Kevin.
Well,
Mm.
come on in, and we'll have a cup of coffee, and we'll
Okay.
Right?
do. And
Yes.
and what's interesting about this time is back in 2003, when I was doing positive talk on KKNW. It was a 10,000 watt radio station, which I still do, by the way, in Seattle, but I had a limited reach. Now you are down in South. Are you in Vancouver?
I'm in Vancouver. Yeah.
You're in Vancouver. She's in Salt Lake. I'm in Seattle, and we can be three friends having a conversation
It's
that
incredible.
it's like we're in the same room, and people can look
Mhm.
in and be like the fourth. You're familiar with the term the fourth wall, Terrell,
Mhm.
which is what
Absolutely.
we're breaking that down. So it's like the four of us, the guest, the listener, and or the watcher, and the three of us are sitting at a Starbucks having a cup of coffee, and we're just talking about stuff that's relevant to us and means a lot. Yeah, that's what's
Yeah.
so cool. That's why I love having. And Dana's got such a wonderful smile, and she's so smart.
I
Um,
know.
and
Kevin, I received that. Thank
and
you.
Teryl, so I would love for you to join our family, because it's a family of people that are growing, and it's all designed to help humanity get past this little bump in the road that we're in currently.
To
Thank you.
evolve and expand.
Yes, I love it. I would love that.
And it's so important. So I just love having you guys here. And oh, you know what? We need to get your information out one more time, because we're running out of time, because you've got a previous engagement you have to go tend to.
Yes. So www.terylrothery.com, Instagram, Twitter, just put my name in there and you'll find it. Thank you.
So I'm going to be sending you a link for all of these, so that you can send it out to everybody you want to send it out to. I think it's a show well worth listening to or watching. And you're a beautiful person, and I really appreciate having you here. Both of
Yes. Yes, Teryl, thank you so much. This has been such an uplifting and edifying conversation. I love, one of my favorite things about you is you bring a joy. There's like this joy, and it's bubbly, but there's also a grounded wisdom that comes from you that's so beautiful, and it's so enjoyable to converse with you, interact with you, and your energy is just wonderful. It's like uplifting is really the term that I feel and experience as I've had this conversation with you. So thank you for everything you brought. Thank you for your heart. Thank you for everything you're bringing to this world to make it better.
Oh, thank
Genuinely.
you. And to you too.
Yeah.
And it's really cool, because you have died and come back. Well, your character died. And then
Don't remind her, Kevin.
Yeah.
No one likes to remember the death. That's why we don't remember that. We don't remember our lifetimes of deaths.
Exactly. But you know what? Some of us have the ability to explain that to us, and that's also I've run across some of the most remarkable people doing the show, and I'm so blessed. I am the most blessed guy, and I get to talk to beautiful women all the time. It is just starkly amazing.
Bless you, man.
It is indeed. Thank you, Teryl Rothery, for being here. It's been wonderful. Dana, stay right where you are, Dana. I know Teryl, you got to go. So, but I got to play this, and then we'll wrap it up, and then stuff and like that. Okay. Hold on.
Okay.
Hey, thanks for enjoying this episode all the way to the end. Please give us a like and subscribe to this channel. This has been a production of PositiveTalkRadio.net. Please visit our website, oddly named PositiveTalkRadio.net, for more details about us and our mission, which is to provide great positive programming designed to inspire us all. I'm Kevin McDonald, and I'm proud of these shows, and I truly hope that you'll like them and share them with friends and family. So on behalf of our entire team, remember,